Monday, January 22, Assurance of God's Care. Read Psalm 40, verses 1 to 3, Psalm 50, verse 15, Psalm 55, verse 22, and Psalm 121. How is God involved in our daily affairs? Psalm 40, beginning at verse 1, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. He also brought me up out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my steps. He has put a new song in my mouth, praise to our God. Many will see it and fear, and will trust in the Lord. And Psalm 50, verse 15, call upon me in the day of trouble, I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. And Psalm 55, 22, cast your burden on the Lord, and he shall sustain you. He shall never permit the righteous to be moved. And Psalm 121, I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth, and even for evermore. The Lord reveals himself in Scripture as the living God who acts on behalf of those who call upon him. For the psalmist, the Lord is always before me in Psalm 16, verse 8. Therefore, he trusts God and calls upon him, as we read in Psalm 7, verse 1, O Lord my God, in you I put my trust. Save me from all those who persecute me, and deliver me. And Psalm 9, verse 10, and those who know your name will put their trust in you, for you, Lord, have not forsaken those who seek you. The Lord will hear him even when he cries out of the depths, as we read in Psalm 130, verses 1 and 2. Out of the depths I have cried to you, O Lord. Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the voice of my supplication. And this conveys that no life circumstance escapes God's sovereign dominion. Thus, the psalmist's cry, no matter how urgent, is never devoid of hope. Psalm 121, meanwhile, which we read, celebrates the power of the Creator in the faithful individual's life. This power includes 1. He will not allow your foot to be moved, in verse 3. The image of foot is often described or descriptive of one's life journey, as we read in Psalm 66, verse 9, who keeps our soul among the living and does not allow our feet to be moved. And Psalm 119, verse 105, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. And Proverbs chapter 3, verse 23, then you will walk safely in your way and your foot will not stumble. The Hebrew word for move describes the security that God gives to the world in Psalm 93, verse 1. The Lord reigns, he is clothed with majesty, the Lord is clothed, he has girded himself with strength, surely the world is established so that it cannot be moved. And to Zion in Psalm 125, verse 1, those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. And 2, the image of the Lord as Israel's keeper, who does not slumber nor sleep, highlights the Lord's constant alertness and readiness to act on behalf of his children in Psalm 121, verses 3 and 4. And 3, the Lord is your shade, we read in verses 5 and 6, and that calls to mind the pillar of cloud in the time of the Exodus, as we read in Exodus 13, verses 21 and 22. 22, and the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and night. He did not take away the pillar of cloud by day or the pillar of fire by night from before the people. Similarly, the Lord provides physical and spiritual shelter to his people. And 4, God is at their right hand, we read in verse 5. The right hand typically designates a person's stronger hand, the hand of action. As you read in Psalm 74, verse 11, "Why do you withdraw your hand, even your right hand? Take it out of your bosom and destroy them." And Psalm 89, verse 13, "You have a mighty arm, strong is your hand, and high is your right hand." Here it conveys God's nearness and favour, as we also read in Psalm 16, verse 8, "I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved." And Psalm 109, verse 31, "For he shall stand at the right hand of the poor, to save him from those who condemn him." And Psalm 110, verse 5, "The Lord is at your right hand, he shall execute kings in the day of his wrath." 5. God's protection of his people is clearly confirmed in Psalm 121, verses 6 and 8, which we read. "God shall preserve his children from all evil. Neither the sun nor the moon shall strike them. God shall preserve their going out and coming in." These poetic figures underline God's comprehensive, unceasing care. The bottom line? The psalmist trusted in God's loving care. We, of course, should do the same. And so to finish today, what are some practical ways that you can better experience the reality of God's care? How can you better cooperate with God in order to enable him to work within you and for you? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful.